Kelly.
What's up, Patrick?
Welcome to the Talking Talent podcast, brother.
Thank you for having me on, Patrick.
Honored to have you here, bro. How's life?
All good. How about you?
Good. Just back from work, chilling, and I've been excited all day waiting to talk to you and hear what cool projects you're going to achieve in the next couple of months and years and whatever else. Because just from following you over the past few years, I can see that you're an actor, you're an anti-bully advocate, you're an MMA specialist, you're a national champion, an international champion, you're highly intelligent, and just to make everything even worse, you're good looking.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I don't know where to start with that, brother.
Yeah. I have only the age of 15, and I already have multiple achievements under my belt. More than some people have accomplished in double the time I've been doing this since. So happy to be where I am now, but it's still a long way to go. So I'm looking forward to the future. So,
Can I ask you this, Nate? Where does that come from? You're 15 years old, and I just listed out some of the stuff that I know about you. I'm sure there's a whole lot of other stuff there, but you're a guy who seems to have a drive to do more. But more than that, you have a belief that you can do it.
yeah, see, my belief comes from my ability, and my ability comes from the hard work and the dedication I have to my sport. You know what I mean? I put in countless hours of training from the age of 4. So with that training and the hard work I put in comes the belief. And then I have a drive, inner drive that every day, there's nobody pushing me saying I have to do this, I have to do that. It's myself that gets myself out of bed in the morning, goes to training, when I'm not up to it or when I'm tired, and I still get it going, you know what I mean? I'm self-driven, I'm self-motivated by myself, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, 100%. You have to have it.
I don't believe anyone can help you achieve anything. I think there has to be a spark inside you that gets
No,
lit
100%,
in some way, and you
Yeah.
have to feel that yourself.
Yeah, when they're kids, people can push you to do things and do this, but that only lasts for a certain amount of time, do you know what I mean? I remember people be like, oh, he's not going to last in a few years when he gets to this age or when he gets to this age, but I'm still here. And I'm not planning on stopping anytime soon, do you know what I mean? This is what I love doing, and I plan on doing it until I can't anymore, so.
And who was saying that? People around you, to yourself, or to people, to others within your circle?
Just people, you know what I mean? Not being my circle, obviously, but just people, in general, making remarks or stuff like that.
Yeah, because obviously I know you're only 15, and know also that you have a probably as big a following as any 15-year-old who was just based on grind. Like your following is based on people who just see what you're doing, appreciate it, and are inspired by it.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for that every day, do you know what I mean, to have a following.
Yeah.
But also I don't think about it much, do you know what I mean? I don't really think about how much followers I have, or on the social media aspect. I don't really focus on that, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? That doesn't really bother me as much as anything.
Yeah. Is there a negative side to that? Do you get anyone criticizing you on that, saying that you won't be able to push this forward or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? That's social media though. You can't have a social media platform and expect not to get hate or expect not to get messages. And if you're on social media, no matter who you are, you have to expect that. So whenever that happens, the good comes with the bad, and you have to take that the negative energy, and you have to use that as motivation. I use that as motivation. Whenever somebody says I can't do something, I want to go and do 100 times better than what they said I can't do.
Yeah. I remember it was a really rainy day in Dublin. It must have been 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh,
And
yeah.
me, you, and your father went in, and and I took 3 photos of you, and there was an angel on a wall.
Yeah.
And the way I didn't plan it at the time, but the way I structured the photos when we came out, it was hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny because just listening to you talk now, it comes back to me because you don't hear any of the bullshit. You don't see any of the bullshit, and you don't buy into any of it. It's hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil. And
Yeah,
you really
100%.
are the epitome of that, actually. You're focused on your goals and on your grind.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way you have to be. You can't let any outside energy or negative energy get into it, or it'll just take you off track of where you want to be going.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one for you, Nate. Don't be like a fizzy drink. Be like water. So basically, if you get a fizzy drink, whatever outside happens, a fizzy drink, it can shake it up. And when you open that, whenever that fizzy drink eventually opens up, it's going to explode everywhere and lose half of what it is. But when you shake water, the water's still calm. You open up a bottle of water after a good shaking, you can kick it up and down the street. You open that water up, it's still calm. It still knows what it is, and it's still complete.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's how I see it. Like I when I was 16, so you're way ahead of me. You're still only 15, and you're like
16 next month. So
you know what I mean. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you've been doing it since you were 4 years old. And the thing that I appreciate most about you, Nate, is the fact that you have a you have an inner respect for the lad that you are, and you have an inner respect for the journey that you're on, and you don't force it upon anyone. And even when I see you doing your Instagram, questions and stuff, people will ask you, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" And you're like, I can do it, and I will do it, and I'll do it based on solid foundations of training hard continuously over a longer period.
Yeah,
And
100%. That's
you're so consistent in that message.
yeah, that's why people be like, "Oh, you're very cocky," or "You're this." It's more self belief, confidence in my ability and in myself. Nobody gets anywhere saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do this," or "I'm not." You have to have. If you're going around being negative on yourself and saying, "I'm never gonna be this, I'm never gonna be that," how are you gonna get anywhere?
Exactly.
All success starts with yourself.
Exactly.
You have to be your biggest inspiration.
Yeah, and you I know I don't know if people know this or not, but the gym that you train out of is SBG Dublin with
Yeah,
the famous coach John Kavanagh. And the one thing that I know about lads who fight for a living and work in martial arts or boxing, if you're cocky the first day you go into that gym, you'll not be cocky when you leave it.
no, 100%.
You know?
When you go into the gym, there's a sign saying no shoes or no egos beyond this point. So when you're training, you can't have any egos, especially in jiu-jitsu. And all these other martial arts. That's the first thing you're taught almost. When you're in there, everybody is equal in the gym, no matter where you come from, no matter what you look like, everybody is equal. And it's an amazing message spread by, I think, most martial arts gyms across the world, and all the good ones, especially.
That's it. There's no racism, there's no levels,
No,
there's
there's
no
no nothing.
hierarchies, there's nothing.
Everybody is equal. Everybody is equal, which is
And when you can
fantastic.
learn that from 4 years old and take it into the world with you, it's a great school. It's a great school of life
Yeah,
to
it's a
bring
great
it out.
skill. That's why
You know,
I always try to push. Even if your kid's not into martial arts, try put them into something like a sport or an activity. Like it's better than them just being at home, or try put them into something that gets them engaged with other people and to teach them about aspects of life that they wouldn't be getting from like other sources. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, and it's interesting because I met you when you were about 2 years old first time. And
Yeah,
I've got this memory, right? This my first memory of you was you with your mother, and I remember thinking this lad's 2 or something, and he's already got slick hair, and he's a handsome wee man already. But I remember at that stage already, you were actually decent those early days, up probably until you were 4, 5, 6. You were a good footballer back in the day.
Yeah, it was very good. You know what I mean? But it was I had a bit of a short temper back in the day, so they couldn't keep me on the pitch for long. They had to put me into something else.
And I remember Alan telling me, your uncle Alan says, "Oh, he's in now." I think Alan told me you were doing cage fighting or something. I says, "Wow, that's a big turn." Because I had visions. I was actually having nightmares that you were going to grow up and play for Liverpool because your dad would force you. Honestly, so I was sort of happy when you went into the MMA actually and into the gym. But going back to the point about having equal, everyone's equal. Everyone's, what you bring to the table is what you take. You're working every day or a lot with the most famous sportsman in the world, Conor McGregor. Um, I'm always sticking up for Conor wherever I go in the world, because people think that what they see on TV is how Conor McGregor is. But Conor McGregor, like Artem, like Peter Queally, like all these other guys, they're some of the nicest people you could ever meet. Like really down to
I
earth,
know,
hardworking.
100%, 100%. I don't think I've ever met a not nice person in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Or very rarely, in anyways. They're all down to earth, really nice people in the gym. From everybody from any age up, you know.
Male and female.
Yeah, 100%.
What's it like to you're working with people like Artem Lobov, Conor McGregor, Peter Quilly, these guys, Paddy O'Hara, what's it like to work with them boys? What do you get from them as a young lad coming up?
No inspirations, you know, they've came a long way and from the same gym, from Dublin as well. So it's inspiration to see somebody that doing so well. That's what I take away is when I see somebody doing well, I get inspiration from that. I want to take that and use it as inspiration for myself.
Yeah, because whenever I look at the UFC Dublin card from a few years ago, where basically everyone from SPG went out, did the business in front of the home crowd, and won every single fight. I mean, that I don't think that's ever been done, has it? Has it ever been done before or since?
No, I don't think it's ever been done. I don't. It would be very hard to replicate a night like that ever again. So it's like the first time it's came back in years, and for everybody to go and put in a performance like that is crazy.
Yeah, and for people who don't really know who you are, it brings me back to probably your introduction to the world stage. Whenever you were just a young lad and you called out Dana White and goes, Dana,
Yeah,
what did you say to him?
I don't remember exactly. That was a good few years ago now. I can't remember word for word, but
You were like,
you know.
I'm gonna be the world champion. You're gonna
Yeah, it
you're gonna
shows it
give him
shows confidence from a young age. I'd say I was only about 10, 9 there or something like that. So
yeah.
the confidence to be able to do that at a young age is crazy.
But also, it's the confidence and the belief to say to like one of the greatest sports businessmen in history to say, Dana, I want an advance on my paycheck because I want to
Yeah.
go and watch Conor McGregor fight in Vegas. So you should pay me now and bring me there with you.
Yeah, it's mad, but it wouldn't even didn't really get to me at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like I just got up and said it, and that was that. I think I just always been kind of an outgoing, confident person. Like that wasn't really something crazy to think. Oh, I got up and said that. It was just, I just feel like I'm always had that kind of confidence about me to be able to do something like that.
But what I was most impressed with was that your ability to articulate it in such a because it was a frantic crowd. Like the UFC
Yeah,
has never before and has never since seen a mad dog crowd like that. Where basically it
yeah,
was
it
I don't
was
know how many
crazy.
thousand Irish nutters crammed into a building and just screaming. And there was this young lad jumped up on the shoulders of his uncle or something and goes, then I want an advance on my paycheck, and I'm 9 years old, and I'll be coming back, and I'll pay you back. Don't worry, man, because I'm going to be your champ.
Yeah,
But you articulated it so well, so concise,
I do think
and
you have to be born with something like that, to be able to get up and speak to that many people, or to be even able to do an interview and speak so well. You have to have that certain gift of the gab. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've had that from a young age. Even I've been doing interviews since I'm about 9 or 10 now at this stage, and I feel like I've never really batted an eyelid to it. Where you see some older people and it's hard for them to do the interviews, and I think you just kind of have to be born with it. And I think us Irish as well, especially, a lot of us have been born with it.
I think so too. I think the gift that the Irish people have been given more than anything has been the ability to communicate and connect.
Yeah, we
Like
love to talk for sure. That's it.
we love a good old chat or a good yarn, but we also do it in a way where we can actually connect with people. It's not just us talking at people, which you can get from other sort of nations, where people are just talking at you and they're not even trying to feel it out. We're actually
Yeah,
great. We're great at actually we're meeting people on their level, having a chat with them, and it's like this. It doesn't matter to you, a 15-year-old and a 41-year-old lad, two lads having a chat, and we're both able to meet on that level. And I think that's the specialness of being Irish. It's one of our blessings, I think.
no, 100%. Yeah, you can see it no matter where you go in Ireland. You can just be popping out to the shops, and you can end up having a half an hour chat with someone you never met before in your life. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. Tell me this. So you went into the acting and all that as well. Tell me about that process.
Yeah, Mark O'Connor, he's a director, and I've been very in touch with Mark since, but I had like a small role in Cardboard Gangsters. It was a very successful Irish film. It was probably one of the top successful Irish films in a while, and it was on Netflix. And it done very well. But that was only the start of the acting career. Do you know what I mean? I don't have a huge acting career just yet, but 100% more to come as well.
Yeah, but the fact that you were again number one took the opportunity. Number one, you were spotted. Number two, he says yes, and number three, you went through with it,
Yeah,
and
100%.
that's
Whenever you're given the opportunities, you have to take them and kick in the door with it as well.
yeah, go for it. And what was that like? How old were you then?
I think I was 11 or 12 around the time. Yeah, so only young as well.
And do you think that's something you're going to do down the line?
Yeah, 100%. I want to get into more acting. Right now, my fighting career kind of takes number one, but I'm gonna 100%. I think when all this blows over and there's more acting going around, I'm going to try to get more into it as well.
Yeah, good man. Um, if I was to look now, let's say five years down the line, John Jones, what age was he when he was champion? 20, was he?
22, I think it is. Yeah, 22
And
or 23.
was he the youngest ever UFC champion?
Yeah, 22 or 23,
I
youngest ever.
think he was. I think. And you look at Mike Tyson. He was the youngest ever boxing champion at 20.
Yeah,
And I think people develop at different rates. Like John, they're animals, both of those lads. You know, in
yeah,
every way.
100% amazing athletes.
You know, and then when you look at John Jones's brothers were playing in the NFL and things like that. So there's a DNA running through those lads.
Yeah, they're just born athletes. Like John could probably, if he dedicated time to it, he could probably become an NFL athlete. Same with his brothers. If they dedicated time to it, they could become UFC fighters. You know what I mean? Some people are
I
just born with that.
I think the ability to if you can compete at the highest level of MMA like UFC, Bellator, I think you can nearly do anything. I mean, you have a drive and a determination, a focus, a desire that
Yeah,
you
100%.
put a ball in front of someone, that'll come easy to them because it actually they don't have someone literally smacking them on the head with a shin.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
as
risking
hard as
you're risking everything when you step in there. Do you know what I mean? That's what some people don't understand, especially people that have never experienced going in fighting another man in a cage. You're risking everything going in there and seeing. You see people like giving people a hard time for whatever way they fight. You know, you're going in there risking everything at the time, so you just have to give these people credit. You know.
I'm baffled by the people who call themselves MMA fans. Like I wake up on a Sunday morning, I check, what was the results in the fight or whatever the night before, and it's not that I will see that say this guy won. I'll see that Holloway lost or someone, and he's getting abused for how he lost. And like Paige Van
Yeah,
Zandt, right? She lost at the weekend. I've met her 3 times in different ways, just wandering up the street and all. And she's a lovely girl,
yeah.
hard as
She,
nails, doing the best she can, and trying to get the most out of her career. I wake up and she's trending because she lost, and it's a pile of muppets who have never set themselves. They've never set even a goal for themselves. Never mind set themselves inside a gym as a goal,
yeah.
and they're
It's
criticizing these people who have literally put their life on the line.
social media gives everybody this fake air of, oh, I can say whatever I want to whoever I want. You know, they're probably on fake accounts or they have nothing up on their accounts, no personal stuff up. You know, social media just gives everybody that fake sense of like, I can do whatever I want, I can say whatever I want, and there'll be no consequences because 100% they wouldn't say anything to their face. You know.
Not to a UFC fighter or
No,
MMA for
no.
no chance, man. I mean,
Yeah,
these lads and these girls are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Humble and kind and driven.
yeah. That's what
But
martial arts teach you. You know, and it goes all the way up from the kids in the class to the people fighting in the UFC, that we all have that sense of, martial arts, what martial arts teach you. You know, you're taught that from a young age.
what's it like being back in the gym? Say after a big fight week. Say James Gallagher was going to be he was 20, was he, when he was going for the world championship belt? I think,
Uh,
and he was unbeaten until that, and he got beaten in the championship fight, and the social media was ridiculous.
yeah, I know. It's just whenever somebody sees you doing well, it's everybody just tries to attack you. Then, especially I feel Ireland can be particularly bad with it. You know, when they see an Irish person doing well, they're like almost waiting for their
The fall,
downfall on something, so
yeah.
then they can say, oh well, he done this and he done that. You know. we are very supportive at times, but I feel like they do, especially on sports that are unknown, like MMA, when they see Conor or they see him as James, James was only very young when he lost his first time, and the backlash that he got was terrible, It's genuinely terrible.
And what's that like to be in the gym with those lads whenever you know that they're getting slaughtered on social media for putting their lives on the line at the most extreme level against some of the best fighters ever to do it? Like
Thing is
what
that they're still humble and nice lads, you know what I mean? Because social media see one side, and then knowing them and being in the gym with them, you see another side, and you wouldn't even know that that they're getting this much hate on social media or any of that, because they're just so humble and nice lads, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember I was in the gym with your mother, and as we were coming back out, we met Artem, and he grew up in Ballybofey. He's half Russian, half Donegal, basically, and
Yeah,
so Ballybofey is only 5 or 6 miles from where I grew up, and nicest lad. And I remember because I've always appreciated him as a man who put everything into it. He put his heart and soul into it, and you would have every time he did anything, you'd have all these muppets calling him the goat, and this in a quite a disparaging manner, actually. And I remember thinking, man, you're a goat human. Like, as
yeah,
human beings come across, like, you're a man that's literally, like, I'm really, I want him to do well in life for the rest of his life. I don't care if he goes into selling spuds or whatever. He's just such a great guy.
no,
And,
100%. He's really, really nice lad.
you know, what do you learn from lads like that who've went through that grind, and have had that amount of shit? Is there anything that you can take from that as a 15-year-old?
See, myself personally, I don't pay any mana to it, like, it doesn't really necessarily affect me, because you'll never meet a hater that is doing better than you in life. They're obviously not doing well whatsoever in life, so they just want to project their like how bad they're doing onto somebody else. So realistically, it's something that comes with it. You have to expect it. You almost have to be trained in it, that you can't give in and can't go crazy over. You're going to get attention from. You're going to get attention positively, and you're going to get it negatively. They both come hand in hand.
Yeah, I've always had this thing, and I don't know where I got it from, but if people, I get around the world quite a lot, as you know, but if people come up to me and say to me,
Yeah,
Patrick, you're a legend, it means nothing to me. And if people walk up to me and go, Patrick, you're a shitbag, it literally means nothing to me either. Like, other people's opinions don't pull me up or down.
yeah. That's what I mean. That's how I feel myself. That's what I've had to. Like, no matter what I do, if somebody has an opinion on it, it doesn't really affect me, unless it's my mother or somebody, unless it's a constructive criticism, if that makes sense. Oh, you could do this and better, but it's somebody in my circle that I'm close to that is just trying to help me. Other than that, if it's an outsider that's giving their opinion in a positive or negative manner, you just have to
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
follow blind. It
And,
doesn't
and,
matter,
and God bless them for trying, but I love when people say to me, I'm doing good or something, it bounces off me so fast. And I'm trying to be humble and go, I appreciate that so much. Thanks, mate. Or the same when
Yeah,
people say, I think you're a shitbag. I'm like, no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to share it with me, but it literally doesn't matter to me. Like, whatever you say.
yeah, 100%. You have to have that bulletproof mind.
Do you have a life path?
Yeah, I feel like right now, life is a marathon, it's not a sprint, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily pay no. Right now, I just want to train, work hard every day, and then whatever comes from that. I'm going to take all the opportunities I'm given,
Yeah.
and I'm going to live my life out. Because at the end of the day, I'm only young. I have hopefully a long life ahead of me. So we'll just right now take it day by day, train as hard as I can, put everything into the sport that I'm going to dedicate my life to, hopefully.
And you have no set goals, like by 24, I want to be,
See, I used to say, oh, I'm going to be the youngest UFC champion, and I still genuinely believe that I am.
yeah,
But I don't that's my own personal goal. Like, I don't go saying, oh, I'm going to be the youngest ever UFC champion. I know I am going to be the youngest ever UFC champion, but right now I'm just taking it day by day. You don't know if the UFC is still going to be a top company in 10 years by time where I'm fighting. So you have to just take it day by day, and I'm only young, so a long life ahead of me.
yeah, that's exactly it. When I was 16, I set my life goals, and mine were three very specific things. I decided that I wanted my path was very simple, Nate. I decided I wanted more. I says I
Yeah,
don't want to grow up around County Tyrone, Strabane, Clady, and I don't want my kids to have the same upbringing I had. So I says I want more, and I thought about that for him. He goes, what does more mean? It means it's very vague. So I actually ended up asking myself two questions, and the two questions were simply, if I could have or do any three things in the world, what would they be? And they could be like go wild. And the second question was, how am I going to do it? So my answer to the first question when I thought about it, I was 16 years old, so just a couple of months older than you are now. My answer was, first of all, if I could have anything in the world, I would love to have season tickets at Old Trafford. The second thing was to have a Porsche before I was 30. And the third thing was to travel the world. And my biggest problem wasn't the fact that I had never seen a Porsche in my life, or, most of the, if I had seen more car bombs than sports cars and things like that. My
yeah,
problem was that I wasn't good at anything. Like, I didn't shine in any way. Like
yeah,
I knew you were a good footballer before you were even good at MMA. I knew you were going to be a winner in life just by meeting you when you were a wee Wayne. And I'm not that guy, but it goes to show you every path is different. And
yeah.
so
That's why.
you know what I mean. So like, just because Nate's a rock star in that one doesn't mean I'm going to be a rock star as well. Like, I can be a rock star in my thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if everybody has a different path, I'm a believer in your path in life was set out for you before you are even on this life. You know what I mean? So I believe everybody has a path. It's just about you taking that.
Yeah, taking that opportunity and being the best you can be on the thing, on the skill set that you've been given.
Yeah, 100%. And some people find that when they're four, like I did, I found something that I love and I feel like I'm gifted at. I'm not only gifted, but that I want to work hard in. And some people find that when they're 40, it's just everybody's life is different. You can't.
And that's one of the thing that you've just said there is a great point just to emphasize. I'm recording this podcast through Anchor. And if you're considering doing a podcast and you haven't heard about Anchor, then let me tell you, it's the easiest way to do a podcast. So let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute the podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many other platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. Definitely check it out. Download the app now from the store. People put themselves under too much pressure because they look at other people and go, well, they're flying and they're only 22 or 26 or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but that's their path.
Yeah, exactly. That's their life. Everybody's different. You can't compare yourself to him and then compare. And social media is probably the worst right now. You see somebody. Social media is almost like people are living these fake lives through Instagram. They see somebody doing this, but you don't actually know what they're doing day to day, the struggles that they have, the problems and the worries that they actually have to go through day to day. So that's why I just focus on myself.
Yeah.
And whatever he's doing doesn't bother me. Whatever she is doing doesn't bother me. Just once I'm happy and once I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, I always say God bless them. See, if I see someone posting something cool on social media, I say, God, brilliant, well done. I don't know what to
Yeah,
do.
that's
I don't know what to do the rest of the week or the rest of the month or whatever. But God, at least they're having something good this week or this hour that they
yeah,
think it's
100%.
worth they posting. And I have to be honest with you, I have never met anyone whose shoes I would want to walk in.
Yeah,
Every single person I've met, they've got their own. They're better than me in a lot of ways, and there's other ways where they're not as far ahead of me in life. And I just look
yeah,
at it. I'm on
100%.
my own path. I would not want to be. I wouldn't want to be on anyone else's path, and I've no interest in doing changing the shoes that I'm in for a split second. I've never envied no one, and my mother always brought me up to say, um, "You don't know what goes on behind closed doors."
Yeah, that's it. That's
Someone
right.
might show that they've got this great life, in public or on social media, whatever, but you don't know what goes on behind. You don't know the pain or struggle that they've got. And I have to be honest with you, I can definitely say that the life that I have offline is probably better than what I show online, because I don't even show the half the good stuff I do. But and when I say good, I mean good for me because I enjoy doing it. I'm not doing it for the rest of the world,
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
And it makes me happy. And I have to be honest and say, people got sick of me posting the stuff on Facebook 12 years ago. So I'm not going to sicken people by posting all the good stuff I do because people don't need to see that. But from time to time, if I'm going to like a new trip like Saudi Arabia, backpacking or somewhere, I'll post that just to show people. So, Saudi Arabia is not that bad. It's not what you think. Nowhere's as bad or as good as you think it is. It's always different, actually. And so I'll
Yeah,
post it from that way to inspire people who are interested. And the people who want to follow me, that's cool. People who don't, that's cool too. Because I know people do get sick of me and want to follow me for 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years, and then go on they change and they want to follow something else. That's awesome, man. No stress.
yeah. I was saying this quote actually said, just because somebody doesn't follow you on Instagram doesn't mean they don't follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, especially when you have a public page, somebody can unfollow you, but I guarantee you they're still going through your posts and your stories and want to see what's going on in your life.
I mean, that's a great quote because I actually know that on Twitter. There's a few people I don't want to follow them and I don't want to be seen following them, but I like to check in from time to time and see what crazy shit they're up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
But I don't want them bombarding my page and stuff. I'm more with it on Twitter than on Instagram, but it applies to me for sure as well.
Yeah, I think it applies to everyone really, but it was a good quote of saying it. So
who's your inspiration at the moment?
that's like, I feel like I've been asked this before, and it's kind of a tough question. I'm kind of inspired to achieve. I'm kind of inspired to live a life that, when it's my time to go, I was happy to say I lived that life and I done everything I could. That's kind of what inspires me more than a certain person. Do you know what I mean? I'm inspired by wanting to. I'm not inspired by one set person, but I'm more inspired by my goals and what I want to do in life.
Like the journey.
So the journey. That's kind of what I'm more inspired by, instead of a set person that I'm inspired by. Do you know what I mean?
Same for me. Like I can look at a lot of people around and I can take parts of their journey or their struggle or their path and say that I like that man and I'm going to try and apply that to me. But there's Kanye West was at the Grammys when he was a young lad and they were saying who inspires you, and he's like, I inspire me. I'm inspired by my own path because no one's ever going to have done what I have done by the time I'm finished doing it.
No, 100%. That's how I feel as well. I'm inspired by what I want to do and what I want to achieve, if that makes sense. I'm inspired by, when I think about what I want to do, I know I'm going to have to put in hard work to be able to achieve that. So knowing these dreams and these goals, that's what inspires me to make myself work harder, to make myself better so I can achieve these things.
Do you have a short-term goal, like something you're looking at for the next 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or anything that you're trying? Like, is there a belt you're after or anything that?
My goal was to win the World Championships in kickboxing at the end of the year, but they have been cancelled, so there doesn't seem to be anything on for the rest of the year, obviously due to the circumstances. So I think my goal now, thinking on it, especially during lockdown, is to become a better person, a better fighter, and a better athlete by the end of the year.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
With no set competitions or fight or anything like that, that is definitely my goal for the next 6 months or for the start of next year. I want to be a better person, a better fighter, a better athlete, better everything by the time of next year.
Yeah.
By the time of 2021.
What at 15 years old, what do you consider a good person or a better, some like a more holistic person?
Really, I don't. There is great people out there, but me myself trying to be a good person would be, not to judge anyone, not to, have no bad beliefs, if that makes sense. Like not to take anybody's car, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. Because it's very easy to take on it's like a fish in water. If the water gets polluted, the fish gets sick. And I think sometimes when we're in environments which are a little bit polluted, the people around us, their minds can get a bit sick over years, basically. And
Yeah,
I know I remember growing up with some people who were really they had a really good character as young lads, but it seems that they've got toxic, and some of the beliefs and some of the things they say, you're just like, wow, man, that's not the right thing to say about the world, or as you say, about judging people based on X, Y, or Z. And
yeah,
I'm always trying to double check on who I am. Do I really believe that thing? And basically just question myself: is this the right way through life? And I was actually reading something recently, and it says, don't be food. Like, don't be food for the negative energy and for the negative sort of vampires that are out there. Because the more negative you are, then the more you feed into the bullshit of this world, and you're the food for that bullshit. And the more we feed it, the bigger and stronger it gets. So don't be
yeah,
food.
100%.
And it resonates with me because I'm always every person I meet, literally every person who serves me in a shop or like holds a door for me, I will always have a compliment for them. And for me, it all goes back to the quote by Gandhi that says, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And I'm never trying to like save the world, but I'm trying to be the best I can be in my world, which means the people who I meet on a day-to-day basis, hopefully their life will be a little bit better because they cross my path.
Yeah, 100%.
You you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the right way to go about things.
And I'm not trying to, be on stage and have this great award because I did this great thing for the whole world. If I can just make my world a little bit better day by day by day by being cool to the people who pass by me, that hopefully has a resonance effect where it causes a train of causation. So they go home and they have a better day. There was actually, I'll give you two stories from today. Other one, the guy who served me lunch, I said, "Bro, I love your hair, man. It looked great. It did look great." And I cut it myself. And I was like, "What? You cut your own hair? How'd you do that?" And he goes, "I used two mirrors." And he goes, "I just go slow. I just take it as easy as possible each time." And he goes, "I'm getting better and better." And his hair looked great. And even at the back, it was perfect. And
Yeah,
I respected it so much. So I was actually in later on getting a cup of tea. And the girl who was serving me, I was chatting and chatting with her. And then I was waiting for the other drink to come. And it was a different girl. And I says to her as well, because she had really good hair. I says, "I like your hair." And she goes, "Thank you so much. I just got it cut, and you're the first person to notice." And I says, "I have to ask, did you do it yourself?" And she goes, "Does it look like it?" I says, "It doesn't, but the guy who I've just been talking to earlier, he cut his own hair, and it looked amazing, and yours looks amazing." So I was thinking, what's the chances?
yeah,
But girls don't really like. It was probably the wrong thing to say to a girl, but she knew it was a genuine compliment.
yeah.
But tell me this: what's what's it like to work under John Kavanagh?
It's amazing. Since I'm young, John has always been great to me in the gym and outside of the gym. There's no other place I'd rather train other than SBG. And John is a fantastic coach, but he's also a fantastic person. You can take great advice from him in the gym and outside the gym. I'm just grateful every day to, have such a great relationship with John and to be able to train in SBG.
He seems to be a man with a lot of wisdom, like old school wisdom.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
In the gym and outside the gym.
yeah, for sure. Like I always observe him whenever there's a UFC card on that Conor's on, whatever, and Conor's sort of storming around the place like he's on, he's cutting weight, he's like a hungry bull ready to bite, and John's just standing there calm and easy and sort of bringing that sort of empty, that sort of balance and energy to the proceedings. And I'm always thinking that must take something, because obviously he must look at Conor like a little brother and feel protective of him, but
Yeah,
he has the wisdom to sort of just let the sort of the mad dog run around in circles and do his thing, but still sort of give Conor that sort of protective shield. And that's why I'm happy knowing that you're training under a man like that, who has the bigger perspective and has got the wherewithal to remain balanced whenever literally the entire world is watching.
no, 100%. He's a master. He's been doing this for so long now. I think it's just with that comes the experience and the calmness, and he's a master at this stage. He's been doing it for so many years.
What about the other lads that's in the gym that's around your age? You must have a couple of lads who's with you 5, 6, 7 years, is there?
Yeah, I have a good few training partners in the gym. We're all on the come up, and we'll see us all going big places in the future.
Yeah,
We're all pushing each other every day in the gym, at my age and a few years above, and to have that already in the gym, people at your age that are on the same path as you, wanting to do the same things, and that's motivation for me. Like when you see somebody when you're in the gym and all these, it's like I seen a quote: if you hang around with 6 millionaires, you're gonna become the seventh. If
yeah,
you hang around with six gangsters, you're gonna become the seventh gangster. So no matter whoever you hang around, that lifestyle and whatever they believe in, that's going to come back on you, especially on at your teenage years. You're more raised by the people around you, your friends, than you are by your parents because you spend more time with them. So I don't want to put myself around people that have no goals, have no hopes for a future, don't know what they're doing with their life. Just want to go out and cause trouble. When I'm in the gym, I have good friends there, training partners that are on the same path as me and want to do the same thing.
yeah. There's a consistency as well in the trajectory towards, like, we're working towards this higher objective. You mentioned your family there. I'm a big fan of the Kelly family. Generally, like the wider family of obviously your aunts and uncles and all that. And I think your mother and father are, and your sister obviously as well, are just, it's a blessing to have the grounding that comes with going home after a win or a defeat or a hard training, whatever it is, to go back to your mother with her sort of, I see her as a real matriarchal lady, like
Yeah, I
soft,
wouldn't.
kind, loving, strong, funny, loves a laugh. Just I really have a lot of I really have a lot of respect for Sarah. I think that's the best way to say it, because I really look up to her in a lot of ways, and the woman that she is, and that has to be such a blessing, Nate.
No, 100%. I'm grateful every day to have such strong and supportive parents. And my mom especially. I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, what?
She's she always inspiring me to go training. Helping me out to get to training. Taking time and money and everything. Into me, supporting me, and it's amazing to be able to have that. And I'm grateful every single day. To have that.
Yeah, and when I look at your father Noel and Alan too, and Jay and all the boys, like those uncles of yours they're great Dublin lads.
Yeah,
I could go anywhere in the world with those lads and be proud of the fact that they're the lad. They're proper Dublin boys. They're cousin. They're just out for a laugh, couple of pints. Having just contributing to the environment around them in a positive way. And I went to Amsterdam last year for Alan's party with all your crew,
yeah, yeah.
and I was so proud of those people. The way that every time they left a pub or left a situation, the people were smiling.
Yeah, I know they're a great bunch of people. I'm happy to have that type of energy and that type of support around me.
Yeah, you're blessed with that, man, for sure.
Yeah,
And
100%.
and again, your sister as well. Like, she's just graduated. She's she's a proper. I see her as a proper influencer. And the reason
No, she is
I,
100%.
I say that because she's a deep thinking girl, and she's a girl who's already she's just graduated, but for a couple of years she's been getting articles in the newspapers about what she thinks about this situation. And whenever your parents have read it, or sorry, shared it, I've always read them from Sweden, and I've always thought that's a really good argument that I haven't considered before. And this girl's probably only 18 now, I think, or whatever she is, but she's again, she's a girl that's benefiting from having parents like Noel and Sarah and that wider Kelly family around
Yeah,
her.
100%. Especially in Pala, where we come from. It's you see these parents and they don't care about their kids. And from a young age, they just let them out and doing whatever. And now their kids are locked up or they're on drugs or they're doing something like that. And from a young age, my mom and dad were very not strict, but they wanted the best for us. So no matter my sister was she was always a bookworm. She was fantastic in school, so they always made sure she was on top of her work. She was doing well in school. She was trying her best and putting everything in because they knew that was her path. You know, they knew that was what she shined in. And so they always given her the motivation and the support to be able to do well in that. And same with me, obviously, with my sport, and always to help and support me and the motivation, you know.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what's the best advice you ever received from your grandmother?
From my grandmother. I remember, still to this day, we'd go to my nanny's before a competition, and she's absolutely crazy. In a good way, obviously, but she's crazy, but in a good way. And she'd always say to me before the competition, just go in and bait them, and don't think about it. Just go in and bait them. That's all you have to do. You know, go with your right, go with your left. And she said something. She says this mad thing, and I don't know where she got it from, but she goes, don't be a tiger, be a lion." I'm like, where are you even getting this from? But thanks for the advice, you know.
But good advice. You know?
Good advice. You know,
good
we
advice.
Sit there for hours listening to my talk. She has hundreds of stories.
Yeah, what a woman.
Yeah, 100%.
That question I've just asked you. That's a question I ask to almost all people I meet, and the woman that they usually tell me about is their mother's mother. And that everyone will tell me something that's different.
That's my mother's mother as well.
You know what I mean? Because that's the lineage. And the reason why they tell me that is because the eggs that you came from, they were actually inside your mother when your mother was inside your grandmother. Believe it or not. So your grandmother actually carried you and your mother at the same time. And that's why everyone's got that such a strong connection to their mother's mother. And everywhere I go in the world, I ask people that question. What's the best advice their grandmother always told them? And it's always the truest thing you can imagine. Because no one loves you more than your parents. Whatever they tell you, it's good stuff. But sometimes they can be so close to you that you don't want to hear it anymore. But your grandparents then are a different level, and they love you just as much, but they can look at it from a more holistic perspective and go, this is what I think. Get you in there, kick the shit out of that guy. Run out of there quick, come back with your gold medal, and we're going to be happy. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, I just want to say this. You're making Ireland look good on the global stage already.
Thank you very much.
And what I mean by that is what I listed at the start. You're 15 years old. You're highly intellectual. You're a good-looking lad. You're winning gold medals left, right, and centre, bringing them home with humility, with honour, with just a great sense of leadership. And you're already featuring in campaigns in Ireland to prevent bullying and different things like this. And you're a sportsman that already is having an impact on our small nation. And I can't even imagine the impact you have in your classroom and in your school already. And I just think this, brother, just keep being you. Wherever that path takes you, whether it's UFC gold medals or just being a good brother and a good father for your kid, wherever it goes, I know that you'll be a winner on that. And I'm going to follow you and support you the whole way. And of course, if I can ever help you, Nate, just reach out.
Yeah, 100%, Patrick. Thanks a lot. It means a lot.
And just as we wind up, is if people want to reach out to you for just to follow your great path through life, or to sponsor you, or to sort of see how they can sort of help you anyway, like financially or whatever, where should people reach out?
Yeah, all sponsorship is welcome. All help and support is needed, as it's only an amateur sport and we don't get any funding. So my Instagram is Nate Kelly MMA, and you can also email me to natethegreatkelly@gmail.com.
Yeah, and I'll put all this in your bio so people can go into wherever they're listening and they can get your contact details and reach out. And as you said, this is an amateur sport. You're a young lad from a working class family in Dublin who's having to travel the world and train and do all these things. So this guy's going to the top. So the people who get the sponsorship in early days, it'll be well rewarded. I can tell you that. So hopefully, there's a few people listening who will reach out in that regard, and hopefully we can all follow your path to success in whatever field that is over the next couple of years at the rate that you want to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks a lot, Patrick. Thanks for having me on.
You're a legend. Thank you so much, Nate, and God bless you, brother.
Thank you, Patrick. God bless.
Take care. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. You
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.